Rockbeard presents 15 prehistoric creatures. Number 1. When Jurassic Park 3 was released in 2001, many people complained that the beloved lawyer-eating T-Rex had been replaced with a made-up dinosaur. In reality, Spinosaurus did exist, and it was indeed bigger than T-Rex. The remains of this enormous predator were found in Egypt in 1915, and the paleontologist who studied them was already convinced that it was bigger than T-Rex. However, this couldn't be proved as the fossils were sadly destroyed in a bombing during World War II. Recently, however, new fossils have been found, and Spinosaurus was finally declared to be the largest carnivorous dinosaur of all time. Number 2. This is a fairly well-known prehistoric monster, but it is just so big and scary that it deserves to be on this list. Technically called a Carcharodon megalodon, was a gigantic shark, closely related to today's makos and great whites. It could grow up to 20 meters long and weigh up to 60 tons, being almost 6 times larger than Tyrannosaurus rex. Number 3. Since the formidable Smilodon, better known as saber-toothed tiger, is too well known, we have decided to go for a refreshing change. Enter Xenosmilus. Possibly the nastiest feline ever to have existed. The remains of this very large cat, the size of a lion or tiger but more robust, were recently found in Florida along with the remains of many unlucky giant peccaries, similar to wild pigs, that fell prey to it. Instead of strangling prey or breaking their neck as lions do, or stabbing them as the saber-toothed tiger did, Xenosmilus acted more like a shark or a carnivorous dinosaur, biting off a huge chunk of flesh and causing massive blood loss and shock in a matter of seconds. Number 4. This is by far the smallest creature of the list, but it would still cause hysteria and perhaps even some heart attacks if it showed up today. It was very similar to today's scorpions, but could grow up to 1 meter long, perhaps more, and was armed with sharp chellae, or claws, and a venomous stinger. Of course, we don't know how toxic its venom was, but considering the considerable amount it injected with each attack, it was most likely a very deadly critter indeed. Number 5. Asdarchids were a kind of pterosaur, most popularly known as pterodactyls, which included the largest flying creatures ever to have existed. Some of them had wingspans of 12 to 15 meters, making them as large as a small plane, although they were obviously not as heavy. But what makes Asdarchids really strange are their body proportions. They have ridiculously long legs, necks and beaks, and very small bodies, as well as relatively short wings. Number 6. Although pigs, wild boars and warthogs today are known to eat meat on occasion, they are basically vegetarian. On the other hand, the Entelodon, a prehistoric pig relative, was a full-time carnivore and possibly one of the most monstrous-looking mammals ever. Standing on all fours, this beast was as tall as a man and had an immense head armed with powerful jaws and sharp teeth. Number 7. Purosaurus was a gigantic caiman, a relative to alligators, that lived in what is today known as the Amazonian rainforest. Back in Purosaurus's days, 8 million years ago, that region was actually a vast inland sea teeming with crocodiles, gharials, freshwater whales, giant rodents, and enormous turtles. Purosaurus was the top predator in that sea, and with good reason. At 12 to 15 meters long, maybe more, it was one of the largest crocodilians ever to have existed. Number 8. Metatsoia would be the worst nightmare of anyone with a phobia of snakes. Although only fragmentary remains are known, it is claimed to have reached the immense length of 15 to 20 meters. This creature appeared in the Cretaceous period and possibly dined on dinosaurs. It was similar to today's boas and pythons in that it was not venomous, but would rather squeeze its victims to death using its immense muscular strength. Number 9. Terrorbirds, formerly known as Phorusrhacids, were the top predators in South America and parts of North America during the Miocene, Pliocene, and early Pleistocene periods, before they were replaced by big cats and other carnivorous mammals. They were unable to fly, but could run very fast as a cheetah according to some scientists. The largest species could grow up to 3 meters tall and weigh up to half a ton. Number 10. This creature has earned some popularity recently thanks to the British sci-fi show Primeval, where it was the very first monster to appear. Although real-life Gorgonopsids were a tad smaller than the TV version, they were just as terrifying. As a matter of fact, they were the dominant predators during the late Permian, before dinosaurs and their relatives took over. Number 11. Today's great white shark probably has some of the most nightmarish set of teeth in nature, but its distant prehistoric relative Adestus was so scary that it would make the great white look almost cute. Adestus was about 7 meters long and was one of the top predators of the Carboniferous Sea. However, scientists still don't know how it used its extraordinary teeth. Instead of constantly losing the worn-out teeth and replacing them with new ones, growing in rows behind, as modern-day sharks do, Adestus didn't lose its teeth at all. Instead, the new teeth pushed the old teeth out of the mouth, and eventually, the gums and teeth would protrude out of the mouth like a pair of monstrous scissors. Number 12. Apician could well be described as a giant pit bull on steroids. It was a member of the Canidae, or dog family. But whereas modern-day canids are built for speed and endurance, Apician was built for brute strength and had jaws so powerful that they could crush bone as if they were crackers. This beast ruled the plains of North America for 15 million years, before it was replaced by big cats. Number 13. Its name says it all. It was a monstrous ape, closely related to the orangutan, that roamed the bamboo forests, jungles, and mountains of China, India, and Vietnam during the Pleistocene. It was a vegetarian, but scary nonetheless. It could grow up to 3 meters tall and weigh up to 550 kilograms. Its strength must have been extraordinary and probably kept it safe from most predators. It finally went extinct 300,000 years ago, possibly due to overhunting by early human species or as the result of climate change. Number 14. This was an ancient relative of today's sperm whale, which, as we all know, or should know, is huge, eats lots of squid, and has never been known to attack humans without provocation. Acrophyseter was the complete opposite. It was moderately sized and didn't feed on squid, but rather on other marine mammals and even on sharks, and have given Acrophyseter and its ancient relatives the nickname of killer sperm whales. Acrophyseter's fossils remains have been found in Peru. It lived in the Miocene period, which seems to have been the best epoch for scary marine monsters, including giant dolphins, colossal sharks, and even monster penguins and seals. Number 15. They don't make animals like this anymore. Asteminosuchus is one of the most bizarre-looking prehistoric monsters. It belonged to the group of the Dinocephalians, and despite their dinosaur-like appearance, they were actually more closely related to mammals, including us. Asteminosuchus was the size of a rhinoceros, and it too had a horn on its nose, but it also had antler-like horns on the top of its head and strange bony protrusions coming out of its cheeks. No one knows what they were used for. Well, thank you for watching another amazing video, and please remember to hit the subscribe box for many more.